Good day, everyone. Today we will discuss about relationships between angles. But before we proceed to our discussion, do not forget to like this video and share it to your friends. And of course, do not forget to subscribe to this channel, Teacher Hill and Ted. Now, let us start with the first relationship. So, we have these congruent angles. So, consider the two angles below. So, these are the two angles. What can you say about their measurements? So, if angle ABC is equal to 75 degrees and angle PQR is equal to 75 degrees, then you can say that they are congruent. So, in symbols, we have angle ABC. This is the symbol for the word congruent, and angle PQR. So, this is read as angle ABC is congruent to angle PQR. So, it means that if two angles are congruent, then they have the same measurements. Again, if two angles are congruent, then they have the same measurements. Now, let's go to complementary angles. Consider the two angles below. If you add their measurements, what is the sum? So, we have this first angle, angle ABC, and the second angle, angle DEF. So, in symbols, we have this, the measure of angle ABC plus the measure of angle DEF is equal to 90 degrees. We have here 40 degrees plus 50 degrees, so it is equal to 90 degrees. It means that if the sum of the two angles is equal to 90 degrees, then the angles are complementary. For example, we have here two angles, angle GE, okay, and then we have this angle, angle 2 and angle 1 from angle GEF. So it means that the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2 is equal to 90 degrees because the whole angle here is 90 degrees. Now, if angle 1 measures 67 degrees, so we have here 67 plus the measure of angle 2, so it is equal to 90. Now, how are we going to solve for the measure of angle 2? So, the measure of angle 2 is equal to 90. Then we use the solving equation, so positive will become minus 67. So, measure of angle 2 is 90 minus 67. So, therefore, the measure of angle 2 is 23. Again, if the sum of the two angles is equal to 90 degrees, then the angles are complementary. Now, let's go to supplementary angles. So, again, consider another pair of angles below. So, we have here angle PQR and angle STU. So, we have here the measure of angle PQR is 30, or angle PQR is 30 degrees, and angle STU is 150 degrees. So, if you add their measurements, what will be the sum? So, in symbol, we have the measure of angle PQR plus the measure of angle STU is equal to 180 degrees. So, 30 degrees plus 150 degrees is equal to 180 degrees. So, therefore, these two pair of angles here are supplementary angles. So, it means that if the sum of the two angles is equal to 100 degrees, then the angles are supplementary. For example, we are given here two angles. We have here angle 1 and angle 2. So, the measure of angle 1 is 95 degrees. So, what will be the measure of angle 2 if these two angles are supplementary? So, it means that the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2 must be equal to 180. Since angle 1 is 95 plus the measure of angle 2, so it is equal to 180 degrees. So now let us solve for the measure of angle 2. So angle 2, measure of angle 2 is equal to 180. Then we have here minus 95. So 180 minus 95 is equal to 85. Therefore, the measure of angle 2 is 85. Or angle 2 is 85 degrees. Again, if the sum of the two angles is equal to 100 degrees, then the angles are supplementary. Now let's go to the intersecting lines and vertical angles. So two lines are intersecting if they have a common point called the point of intersection. So in our figure, we have two lines here that intersect, and the point of intersection is in this point where the two lines intersect. So vertical angles are formed by the two intersecting lines. So we have this figure at the right. So there are two pairs of vertical angles. So we have your angle 1 and angle 2. So angle 1, this is angle 1, and this is angle 2. So this is a pair of vertical angles. And of course, angle 3 and angle 4 is a pair of vertical angles too. So we have here angle 3 and angle 4. And vertical angles, take note, vertical angles are congruent. So it means that if the angles are congruent, then they have the same measurement. So it means that the measure of angle 1 is equal to the measure of angle 2 because they are vertical angles. The measure of angle 3 is equal to the measure of angle 4 because they are vertical angles. So in the given figure above, if the measure of angle 1 is 122, so what will be the measure of angle 2? So since they are vertical angles, therefore, the measure of angle 2 is also equal to 122. So since angle 1 is congruent, so take note that this is the symbol for congruent, is congruent to angle 2, then the measure of angle 2 is 122. So again, vertical angles are congruent. Now let's go to adjacent angles and linear pairs. So two angles are adjacent if they have a common side. So an example of this is as follows. So we are given here angles BET, then we have angle BEN and angle NET. So angle BEN and angle TEN have a common side. So the common side is ray EN. So this will be the ray EN. This is the common side of angle BEN and angle TEN. So therefore, you can say that angle BEN and angle TEN are adjacent angles because they have common side which is ray EN. So if in case you add the measurements of the two adjacent angles and you have a sum of 180 degrees, then the angles form a linear pair. So it means that the sum of these two angles is 180 degrees and at the same time, they are adjacent angles, meaning they have the same or have a common side. So we called it as linear pair. So this is the figure for linear pair. So in this figure, angle 1 and angle 2 are adjacent because they have common side. So this ray is the common side of angle 1 and angle 2. And since the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2 is 180 degrees, then angle 1 and angle 2 form a linear pair. Okay, for example, we are given here adjacent angles which are angle PUT and angle TUG. So angle PUT and angle TUG are adjacent angles. Why? Because ray UT is the common side and point U is the common vertex. Then we have these linear pairs as an example for this figure. So we can have angle CHF and angle FHY. So CHF and FHY. So they form linear pairs. Again, we also have angle YHN and angle FHY. So it also form a linear pair. Then we also have angle CHF and angle CHN. So it form a linear pairs. Then we have here angle YHN and angle CHN. So these are four linear pairs from this figure. So again, two angles are adjacent if they have a common side and a common vertex. And if it is an adjacent angle and it has a sum of 180 degrees, the two angles are adjacent and the sum of its measures is 180 degrees, so we call these angles as linear pair. Now we have these perpendicular lines and parallel lines. So perpendicular lines are intersecting lines that form right angles. So line L and T are perpendicular lines. So we have your line L and line T. And this symbol says here that it forms a right angle. So therefore, this is the same case with as lines M and N. So we have your line M and line N. And this symbol here stated that this angle formed by the two intersecting lines is 90 degrees. And in symbols, we write this as line L is perpendicular. So this is the symbol for perpendicular. So is perpendicular to line T. And line M is perpendicular to line N. If and only if the intersecting lines form an angle that measures 90 degrees, that form right angles. Now, we also have parallel lines. So, parallel lines are lines that do not intersect. Lines R and S are parallel lines because they have no point of intersection. Even if we extend this line to opposite direction for line R and for line S, they will not intersect. That's why we call this as parallel lines. Same case with lines W and Z. So in symbols, we write R is parallel. So this is the symbol for parallel. R is parallel to S and line W is parallel to line Z. So again, parallel lines are lines that do not intersect. So I hope you already learned from this video about relationships between angles. Do not forget to subscribe for this channel. Thank you for watching. Stay safe and God bless.